So I kind of have a love-hate relationship with Legends of Tomorrow. During the first 3 seasons of the show, it was one of my favourite shows on TV. With seasons 4 and 5, I really thought the show started to lose a lot of what made itself great. And the fact that the show could be goofy and fun while also being full of comic book lore, great villains, and just getting serious when it needed to, just made it a really enjoyable show for me. It was also just in general very well written in the early seasons, especially in seasons 2 and 3. In the following 2 seasons, they just started to kind of lose focus on all of that, and they just started to kind of make the focus more on being goofy and funny at the expense of pretty much every other aspect of the show. And obviously there is a huge part of the fan base that loves the show when it's like this, but for me personally, it was not what I watched the show for. Season 6 is kind of weird for me because I feel like it has aspects of both. The first half of the season really surprised me. I even made a video talking about how for the first time in years I was borderline loving Legends of Tomorrow. Then the show did this weird interlude of 5 episodes that felt like they were more focused on the wacky plot of the week than on the storyline again, and this left the season with only 3 episodes to bring back the plot, and just in general it makes this season very uneven, and also one that I'm not really sure how to review. But really quick before getting deeper into this review, I just want to ask if you can subscribe if you're not already. I make DC and Marvel videos every single week, and new subscribers really do help to keep up the motivation to make new videos. But yeah, like I said, I was really invested in the first half of the season. Bishop was the most interesting and threatening villain since the Legion of Doom. He brought a sense of seriousness to the show that I really felt had been missing. And the thing as well that made his character so good of a villain was that he still had that weird goofy charm that Legends is known for. And I was just saying to myself during the first half, like, thank you, this is what the show has been missing, a way to properly blend both the serious and wacky aspects. He also had a personal connection to some of the legends like with Ava, and he was able to get inside the head of Sarah and somewhat Mick very well. I know the Sarah development of her original body not being alive anymore was something a pretty sizable chunk of the fanbase weren't crazy about, but I thought how they handled it was really well done. Along with this, we had Mick, who even though he wasn't very present for a good amount of the season, he was at his most well written in seasons I felt. Him being the one legend not giving up on Sarah and doing anything necessary to find her was the Mick Rory that I had been missing for years. The alien angle also gave the show a fresh feel after seasons in a row of magic and supernatural-esque villains. Along with this, we had a bunch of episodes happening concurrently in a way that felt like the show had been planned out in the best possible way. I personally thought the pandemic must have given the writers a much longer time to plan out the season and episodes because it really felt like things were that high quality. I genuinely did think the show was back on top. But then we had an episode where nothing really happened. We were just focusing on Behrad getting high, and then we had another episode where nothing really happened, and then another. And I started to think maybe I was way too quick to make that Legends of Tomorrow Season 6's great video. But it's not just the fact that nothing was really happening, it was the fact that the episodes were ruining certain characters for me, I guess. The absolute worst problem with the show at the moment, and I genuinely think this is the absolute worst issue on the show, like I'm not, being hyperbolic here, I do think this is the worst thing on the show, and that is Behrad. I have absolutely no idea why the writers seem to love his character so much, but his entire character is focused around getting high and making stoner jokes, and it's genuinely terrible for me. Like, it is the one aspect of the show that I just think needs to go, like needs to be gotten rid of completely. Like, you don't even need to get rid of Behrad's actor, but the character needs to go. And when we got an episode entirely focused around him and how he grew up loving a show about getting stoned, I really started to think that this season wasn't as well written or well planned as I originally thought. Mick is also a character that I think just completely started to fall apart after the first half of the season. Now, it's no secret that Dominic Purcell was leaving the show. I think they announced this either during Season 5 or immediately after Season 5 ended. Now, they have mentioned that Mick will be back in a more guest role in next season and beyond, but Dominic said some pretty drastic things about the show on Instagram a while back. He ended up deleting the post and saying he was joking about the whole thing, but personally, and this is like, there's no evidence for this. This is going off of nothing other than my opinion. But I think he was probably pissed off at the people behind the show and was just told by a manager or maybe even a rep from WB that he needs to delete what he said. But I'm going off on a ramble here, but basically what I'm trying to say is I'll believe Mick and Dominic are back when I see them come back. Like, we knew Mick was leaving the show for a while, so they had plenty of time to write a truly good exit for the show befitting of the character. I just feel like what they decided to do with Mick was absolutely not in line with the character, and even though the last 2 seasons have definitely shown some serious changes to Mick, I think this was a bridge too far for that character. Constantine is sort of similar to Mick, but less drastic, because I actually do think how they handled the lead up to his death wasn't that bad. Constantine chasing power at the expense of everyone he loves does kind of feel like something he would do, but unfortunately it's how the behind the scenes of it was handled that's left me really annoyed at the whole storyline. So if you haven't heard about what was going on, there's a Constantine TV show getting made for HBO Max that's going to have a new actor, a different Constantine, and likely take place inside the continuity of the DC movies. And during Comic-Con, they announced Matt Ryan wasn't going to be playing Constantine anymore and will instead be playing a new character next season. And pretty much, it's a not so secret that WB likely told CW that they need to drop Constantine from the show to make room for the HBO Max show, because the heads of WB think we're all fucking idiots who can't tell two different characters apart. So essentially, I don't really blame the show or the writers for this one. They were dealt a shitty hand and tried their best to overcome it, but man, Matt Ryan is literally a perfect Constantine. Like, he's going to be the definitive version of the character for a very long time, maybe forever. And the fact that he was forced out because some other people decided they want to write the character is just so damn infuriating. And for that reason alone, I'm annoyed at this storyline. But again, I don't necessarily blame the show for it, but it's hard not to be kind of annoyed at the whole situation. Anyway, the final 3 episodes of the show brought Bishop and aliens back into the forefront of the show, and episodes 13 and 14 were definitely an improvement over the fillery episodes we had. But I personally felt that the magic and quality that was present in the first half of the season didn't at all feel like it was back in these last 3 episodes. It was weird because it sort of felt like, oh yeah, we still have a main plotline this season, we should wrap that up thing, and less of a huge development, like less of a natural conclusion to this storyline. I thought the final was fine, the highlights being everything involving Sarah and Ava, but most of the Bishop stuff felt like a huge downgrade to how good the character was at the beginning of the season. I also was kind of hoping we'd get just one big team up fight with everybody in their costumes because, like, you know, like it or not, this used to be a superhero show, but I guess not. The weird fungus stuff also, and how they needed to eat a mushroom to talk to Constantine, was really weird, and that felt like it was connected to the Bayrod stuff that I haven't really liked at all. But honestly, this whole season really does feel like The Flash Season 6, with a fantastic first half and a second half that, while it has a few bright spots, just isn't anywhere near as good in almost every way. But I'm actually not sure if I'm alone on this feeling, but please let me know how you felt about Legends of Tomorrow Season 6, because I am genuinely interested to know if I'm the only one feeling like this. But anyway, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and all of that, and have a great day.